I'm Andrea.
And I'm Dave.
And this spring we took a trip from Portland to the Painted Hills in eastern Oregon.
We like to hike and enjoy the outdoors, and the Painted Hills is just a 4-hour drive away and a place we'd never been before. We've been to the mountains, we've been to the rainforest, we've been to the coast, but the high desert is an area we've never explored. There are many ways to get to the Painted Hills of eastern Oregon. We decided to head east on Highway 84 past the Dells, then turn south to drive through the wind farms and rolling hills of eastern Oregon.
Our picturesque drive ended in the small town of Mitchell, where we found the Airbnb where we'd spend the next few days.
Our first stop was to visit the Painted Hills, and we were welcomed by a herd of singing cows.
How you guys doing? Pretty good. How about you? Good.
After cowboys and a stampede of cows, we headed off to the main view of the Painted Hills.
The Painted Hills are part of the John Day fossil bed. They are made from a series of volcanic ash eruptions that formed the Cascade Mountains about 35 million years ago.
The colored bands that you see in the hills represents changes in climate that occurred as successive eruptions laid down ash. The Painted Cove Trail, which was our next stop, was the most interesting to me because it had these giant mounds of red, eroded ash that was circled by a nice boardwalk.
We read that there was an abandoned ranch in Mitchell, and the following day we set out to find it.
I really love the idea of exploring an abandoned property and thinking about the history and mystery of it all, and who lived here and where did they go and where are they now.
I'll admit it was super creepy to me, and I was scared we were going to stumble upon a crime scene.
The family must have had some money because this is a very large and expensive freezer. I did a little research on who owned the property but couldn't find any information.
As we walked through the homestead, we began to piece together what we thought might have happened.
I had to explore the second house alone because Andrea was too afraid to enter. I think this second house was the original home that the first homesteaders lived in. Then, as they had kids and the family expanded, they probably built a second, larger house. There were many barns on the property. This large barn was interesting because it had a giant wooden ladder that went up 30 feet to the top of a platform. I'm guessing that someone had to climb up to the top of the platform to redistribute the hay that they stored for the winter season. This large outbuilding piqued my interest because it contained some old equipment. The way the light came in from the side door and holes in the walls illuminated the equipment within and made for a great picture.
That same day, we explored a really old cemetery and found tombstones dating back to the 1800s.
Mitchell was founded in 1873 by a politician called John Mitchell and has a population of about 142.
We visited a couple little shops. That included a grocery store, which I'll let you talk about, Dave.
This store was like an oasis in the middle of the desert. This little grocery store had nearly everything you can imagine, from fresh fruits and vegetables to marshmallows, ice cream, and slushies.
While Dave had his eyes on his rainbow of foods, I had my eyes on mine.
The last time I saw a phone booth was when I was watching Harry Potter with my kids when they were younger, so I decided to check it out. Check out this old telephone book. I thought it would be fun to pick up the receiver to see if it had dial tone, and I couldn't believe that it actually did.
On our final day in the Painted Hills, we headed east to explore the Sheeprock unit in the John Day Fossil Beds National Monument.
Along the way to the Blue Basin Trail, we stopped at this giant homestead called the Cant Ranch.
This ranch under the shadow of Sheeprock, which is the pointy mountaintop you see in the background, gives you a sneak peek into an early 20th century livestock ranch. Apparently, the Cants offered quite a bit of hospitality to passerbys back in the day.
A little farther down the road, we headed off to the Blue Basin hike. The hike started off with gently rolling hills and views of beautiful green rock formations. The strata of green rock that you see off in the distance was created by the weathering of volcanic ash. We're here at the Sheep Rock hike in the John Day National Monument, and amazing day. It's probably about 65 degrees, and what you can't see is this beautiful canyon off to the right.
And in the canyon, there are these layers of color, turquoise and burnt orange and red. It goes so deep. I think this is the best scenery in our entire trip to the Painted Hills.
Definitely. We are at the end of the trail in the Sheep Canyon unit, and this is the big ravine that has all the beautiful green aqua-colored rocks.
It's really amazing, and it says end of the trail, which I thought was going to be at the car, but clearly we have more to go.
It works.
No.